The Monday, June 14th, 2021 regular meeting of the Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For the purposes of this meeting, there is a quorum of the council present. Mr. Gene Anderson will deliver the invocation. Please rise.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you as always for every blessing, for we know they all come from you. And we just pray for our council tonight as they make important decisions, Father, that you would guide and direct them to do all things that are for good for our community. And we pray for our community that it might grow and prosper and that it might glorify you in all that it does. For we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Hughes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. The next item on the agenda is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city council members, or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. If necessary, the City Council may convene into executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on this agenda. The public forum is now open. Is there anyone who wishes to address the council? Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Council, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm Sherry Bedford, Main Street Manager. Next door is my address, 150 Southeast 1st Street. I'm here to invite you to two events that are going to be happening on June 26th. So I knew I wouldn't see you before these events happen, so I just wanted to invite you to the Imagine the Possibilities Tour, which will take place on June 26th from 1 to 4. And what that is, a vacant and underutilized property tour. We'll have some properties that are open in downtown Paris, Texas that are for sale or for lease. We'll also have some properties that are undergoing renovation. The property owners will be there to tell you their dreams and plans, and we'll have a property that has been completed recently and put on the tax rolls that was vacant, and it's wonderful. It's a Airbnb, loft at 123. Give you a chance to go up and look at some properties that are in downtown Paris, Texas, promoting our historic district. And in conjunction with that, but more important too, this building we're in turned 100 years old last year, 2020, and we were planning in the spring of 2020 to host a tour of City Hall. And of course, we know COVID put a kink in our plans, and so we're going to be hosting that tour on the 26th. We're going to have 3 tours, one at 1 o'clock, one at 2 o'clock, and one at 3 o'clock. And the tours will be led and hosted by Gene Anderson. He's spearheaded a lot of the renovations and knows a lot of history about this building. We'll have some cake for our birthday party, and we'll also display the contents of the time capsule that was in the cornerstone from 1920. So anyway, we'll have that on display. If you are here, you'll get a small token to remind you of your tour that you took, and we'll also have everybody sign a scroll, and that scroll will be placed inside that 2021 time capsule. So we really want every one of you to come and take a tour of City Hall. You'll probably learn something. I know I took the pre-tour with Gene, and it was really interesting. So June 26th. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bedford. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing no one, The citizens forum is now closed. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are approved by a single action of the council, with such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda. A council member may request any item be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Does any member wish to remove an item from the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
I second it.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Passes unanimously. On the regular agenda, item number 7, discuss and act on a resolution changing the name of Martin Luther King Jr. Park to the Joan Mathis Park. Staff, do you have a presentation, or should?
Yeah. At the last city council meeting, a citizen came before the city council and asked that we consider renaming Johnson Park to Joan Mathis Park. So it was then placed on the agenda by Ms. Stone, Councilmember Stone, for this meeting. We went to work trying to research that so you can prepare for this meeting. We did discover that in 1989, we had actually renamed the park to Martin Luther King Jr. Park. That was via Resolution 89-015. So that was information we didn't know at the time. And but with that, it doesn't change the item here. The item is still consideration to rename Martin Luther King Jr. Park to Joan Mathis Park. Either approve that, deny that, or you can table it for a future discussion if you so wish. And so, but that's the item in a nutshell there.
Thank you, Mr. Path. Any discussion? Ms. Stone, would you like to start that?
Yes, this park is in my district, and when we got it and I put it on the agenda, we were of the assumption that it was Johnson Park. Now, Joan Mathis is a great person. If you know her, she's sweet. But this park was renamed Dr. Martin Luther King Park. And what I feel like we should do, we don't need to change that. In my opinion, changing that name would be like changing historical person who did so much for so many people. I really would like to meet with the constituents, because I've been getting phone calls saying that they didn't know it was Dr. Martin Luther King Park. So if we can try to figure out, get a meeting together, schedule a meeting with all the constituents who want to change it, and see if we can come up with some other solutions. I do have some more solutions as far as some more parks that are in Paris that could be named Joan Mathis, but to change Dr. Martin Luther King, and we need to work on getting a marker for that park so the community can know this park, who they're members of. So if we can either table it, or we can vote, to leave it Dr. Martin Luther King, which, I've been getting phone calls, a lot of constituents, and not just my constituents, but the city of Paris, to change a park from Dr. Martin Luther King, that would be hard for me. I'm not for it, but I am for, if we want to acknowledge Ms. Mathis, there is a park that's called 10th Street Park, literally 10th Street Park, and it's still in the same district. We can work on changing that one possibly, or name of a street, but we just need to try to, in my opinion, upgrade the Dr. King Park, get some type of monument so the people will know, and not just for my district, but for the city of Paris, and just go forward. Any comments from anybody else?
Well, I agree that we probably should meet some more, table it and meet some more. But with that being said, I would be in favor of changing it. And the reason why, yes, we found out that it was Dr. Martin Luther King Park, and Dr. Martin Luther King was a great man. But if you go to where he lived, you see a lot of things in museums and different things from his house and different things where he lived. Well, Joan Mathis lives right in that vicinity, and that would be a great park to name Joan Mathis Park. She's not a national icon, but to me, in my opinion, she is a local icon, and we have to respect. I think it would be a great respect factor for her here, and I think it would be good for this community. Dr. Martin Luther King's
measures have been stated across the United States, across the world. We know that. And we do have a Dr. Martin Luther King Street right up from that. So it's not like we would be erasing history. So I think we would be adding to history, and it would be a great thing to, I think it would be great for this community. I think it would be something that people could look up to. People already look up to Ms. Mathis, and I think it would be great for, especially that area where she lives. So I think it would be an honor to her, and not only an honor to her, but to an honor to that demographic and to the people of Paris, Texas.
And again, not just Miss Mathis, but there are a lot of great people that has done a lot of good things in Paris besides Miss Mathis. Again, I'm not taking nothing from her, but to take this part and to name it Miss Mathis, I know several great people that could be named this park, but we just didn't bring their name to it. I just feel like it's a historical name, and yes, he's all over. Miss Mathis, we can still acknowledge her with this other park. You know, not taking nothing away from her, but I just don't feel like Paris, Texas need to take Dr. Martin Luther King Park, the only park that we have, and put it in a citizen's name who I truly believe there's other citizens in Paris that is just as worthy. You know, I'm not saying she's not, but 2 or 3 years from now, we're going to have another person who everybody like and want to change the name again. I mean, we're going to keep changing names every other 5 years, every other. This park was, like I say, 1989, and it's a shame that I didn't know, and it's in my district, and I used to go to the park as a kid, that it wasn't Dr. King's park. So I was just wanting to get like a monument and kind of upgrade the park, you know, with the other parks, but at least get a monument, you know, because he did do a lot, and I'm not saying Miss Mathis didn't, but a lot of citizens in Paris have contributed to the Paris community, and not just Miss Mathis. So we're going to get different names in the hat every other year to change the name of the park. I mean, there's a lot of good people in Paris that's done a lot of great things.
Any further discussion from council?
Yes, I don't want to take too much more of a time on this, but I know most of the citizens that I spoke with had no idea that that park was named Dr. Martin Luther King Park. It concerns me that if it was that important to everyone to name it that, then why wasn't it documented with signs and everything in a historic nature that it should be done? We're talking about Ms. Joan Mathis here, who is an icon to most people in this city, if not everyone in this city. I had no one that, even after they found out that it was Dr. Martin Luther King Park, I had no idea it was. And I'm out in my community, and I try to respect my constituents' district, so I don't overstep my boundaries. But no one has come to me once they did find out and say, hey, we can't do this. We don't want to do this. So I'm in favor of now that we found out that it is named Dr. Martin Luther King Park, to let the citizens understand what we're doing here, so everybody can understand the decisions that we're making here. I wouldn't be opposed to vote for it to change at all. But I am in favor of everyone understanding what we're doing here, since we came up with some more information from the last meeting. She's worthy of it being changed. The 10th Street Park, I have no idea. I've been gone 30 years in the military, so I have to see what this park is. But that park is directly on the same path of her home, so it would be perfect to name that park after Ms. Joan Mathis. But it's a citizen's choice. So I like for those who are opposed of it, that's why I ask all my citizens in my district, if you oppose anything or if you have issues, to come to the Citizens Forum and speak on it, so we'll know who they are. And we need to know who they are and what the issues are, so we can decide on this the right way. But I wouldn't be opposed to changing it at all. But I will support Councilman Stone's decision to table it a little bit to see, get the right information and see where we go from there.
The chair will entertain a motion.
I make the motion that we table this until we get more information.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to table the issue of changing Martin Luther King Jr. Park to Joan Mathis Park. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion passes unanimously.
Mayor, if I could jump in real quick, just to clarify for staff, is there any particular information the staff can bring at the next meeting? Or it sounds like a few want to talk to your constituents. Is that the information you're looking to pursue, or is there some information the staff can bring, or?
I would ask the constituents that are here to get a meeting together and let me know the date and time so I can come and speak with you guys and give other options to see what we can work out in the community, and we can go from there. So if y'all want to get a meeting together, email me, let me know, call me, and that way we'll have something before we come back.
Okay. If anyone does come up with anything, you can always email me or get hold of me too. We can prepare that for the next meeting, so.
Grayson, the only thing that I would ask is for the list of parks that we do have, can we do an assessment of sorts, kind of like what we did whenever I sat on the PEDC? We looked at our land survey and looked at different criteria that we wanted to set forth for those properties. Can we do the same thing with our parks and see, what is the signage? If it's dedicated to a certain individual, do we have anything to commemorate them by? Or do we have a signage for the actual park or anything like that? If we're able to get a survey of that just to see, hey, which parks have what markings, what are the parks that we have, can we just make that a general spreadsheet so that way we get a chance to see what that's
Yeah,
about?
we can identify which of our parks, what the names are, and then if they have signage at them, and then we'll try to do what research we can in 2 weeks, and we have over 20 parks, and so,
Yeah.
but we'll
a
see
lot.
what records we can find on some of them, but otherwise we can definitely figure out what the name of the parks are if they're identified at the park, and so we can work on that.
And you
so,
can also go online and look up all the parks in Paris.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Item number 8, discuss and act on an ordinance amending the traffic control adopted in section 11.02.005 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Paris, Texas, establishing a stop sign at the intersection of 32nd Northeast and Houston Streets, stopping southbound traffic on 32nd Northeast. Chief, thank you.
Good evening, council. This item was referred to the Traffic Commission. It currently has no traffic control devices at this intersection, so at the June 1st meeting of the Traffic Commission, we considered this item, and the Traffic Commission voted 7-0 to recommend council move forward with an ordinance to place a stop sign at that location. So,
Thank you. Any questions of Chief? Okay, if there's no further discussion, the chair will hear a motion to approve the stop sign at 32nd and Houston Street.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the stop sign at 32nd and Northeast and Houston Street. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Unanimous, thank you. Item number 9, discuss and act on an ordinance amending the traffic control map adopted in section 11.02.005 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Paris, Texas, establishing a stop sign at the intersection of 37th Northeast and Village Bend Street. Chief?
talking to the manager, sorry. This is another item that was considered by the Traffic Commission at their June 1st meeting. Again, there's no traffic control device at this intersection, so the Traffic Commission also voted 7-0 to recommend that council approve placing this stop sign at this intersection.
Thank you.
Is the public not allowed to speak on these individually? On these items, we're supposed to be during the public forum? Is there any discussion?
He's asking you, Mayor.
On this item?
I'm sorry, sir, you had the opportunity to speak at the public forum.
Okay, I didn't do it. Okay, thank you.
All right. Any questions of Mr. Tuttle? All right. The chair will hear a motion to approve this stop sign.
I just want to make one note here. On the ordinance on our agenda packet, I just want to make sure that it is 37th because I think it got mixed up with 32nd and 37th. So I just want to make sure that we're clear on it, on the ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Just at the very bottom, it just said stop sign at the intersection of 32nd in Village Bend, but it's supposed to be
And it should be
37th.
37th Northeast.
I think it just
correct?
got mixed up in translation between
Okay.
the previous.
But we'll correct that.
No worries. No worries. I'll make a motion to go ahead and pass that.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor of the stop sign at 37th Northeast in Village Bend, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 10, receive and discuss the 2021 water and wastewater cost of service rate study and consider an ordinance amending Appendix A fee schedule, Article A 10.000, utility rates, Section A 10.003 water rates of the Code of Ordinances to reflect changes recommended by the 2021 water and sewer rate study.
As the council probably already knows, the city has water contracts with 4 of our local industries, and one of the requirements of those contracts is that we have an independent rate study completed every year. The rate study determines the contract rates for those customers, but a byproduct of that is the rates for all the other customers, residential, commercial, and smaller industrial customers are also determined. And of course, the rate study is an important tool financially in order for the city to maintain the integrity of our water and sewer fund. That the 2021 study's been completed, and Chris Eckroot from New Gen Strategies is here, and he's going to present the results of that study.
Thank you, Mr. Eckert.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, members of the council. Again, Chris Eckert with New Gen Strategies and Solutions. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight. I do have a very brief presentation to go through with you to present the 2021 water and sewer rate study. As always, I hope that I can answer all questions as we go along, but in the event I don't, please feel free to stop me at any point as we go through this. So again, as Gene said, this is a required study under the contracts you have with your treated water customers. The recommendations tonight are a byproduct of that study looking at your residential and commercial water rates. So with that, there is a slight difference I will remind you of. As we look at the rates for your contract customers, that's based on actual expense. When we're looking at your retail, your residential and commercial customers, we're looking at your budget. The plan that the City Council has put forth and says that is our plan of expenditure, that's what we use for your retail rates. I will remind you also that last year when I was with you, there was an increase in the water and wastewater rate. You can see what the impact of that was for an average customer on the screen right now. At the same time, with all of the development, all of the work going on with the wastewater treatment plant, the City Council took action on wastewater rates this last February, put a rate plan together for that entire project. And so what we have done, we have assumed that rate plan based on the action taken by the council. So my recommendations tonight are solely on the water side. Because again, you've already acted on wastewater rates. We're really just focusing on water this evening. I will remind you, the councils in the past have adopted a rate maintenance policy. This policy is very, very important to the city, and we highly recommend that you continue to take rate action in accordance with this policy. The rating agencies look at this policy to make sure you are in compliance, and because of that, you receive a very good rating on your debt. There's an inverse relationship between your debt rating and your cost of borrowing, such that the higher rated you are, the lower your cost of borrowing, and you lower your cost to citizens in the long term. So again, right now you are in compliance with this policy. We're recommending you continue to comply with this policy going forward. So a couple quick findings just year over year. We have seen cost increases both on the water and wastewater side. Even before we consider the debt associated with the wastewater plant, we are seeing cost increases. On the water side, that's about 1.4%. But again, your funds right now are sufficient to meet your rate maintenance policy. Everything within that policy, you're in good shape. However, when we look at water rates on a standalone basis, they are slightly insufficient at this time. What is driving that is not only the increase we've seen in water cost, but we continue to see a decrease in consumption. This is a long-term trend. This is not unique to the city. We see this everywhere right now. Citizens are much more aware of their water use. They're installing different types of plumbing that is more efficient in terms of water use. So again, this is an industry trend that we see for all of our clients, but that does mean that you have fixed cost. That fixed cost is not being recovered as consumption goes down. It does merit a small increase to the water side. And so with that, what are we proposing? On the screen right now, you see your current water rate for residential customers. You can see what we're proposing. Again, you have a two-part water rate consisting of a fixed charge and a variable charge. We're recommending slight increases to both of those components. What does that mean to your customers? For a 2,000-gallon customer, this is a smaller usage customer. This is about 82 cents a month, an 82-cent increase every month in their bill. For a 5,000-gallon customer, that's going to be more your single-family home. This is a $1.78 increase every month in that bill. If you are a much larger water user, that increase is $3.39 a month. Again, as we increase the residential rate, we're recommending commensurate increases on the commercial side. You can see what those look like to the actual rate. But again, just as we did with residential, you can see for a commercial customer using 5,000 gallons, that's $1.91 monthly increase. A larger commercial customer, $3.52 a month increase in their bill. And again, this is just the water bill that you see here. That's all we're recommending tonight. Again, I will remind you, the council did take action on wastewater rates. We are following that plan. You can see what those increases are going out. This is all associated with the wastewater treatment plant project, and I must say I'm glad to see the city moving forward on that. We've talked about that for a very long time, so that's very encouraging to see that in process. But just a couple more informative slides for you. You've seen all of this when you took action on the wastewater rates. You see what that does to the wastewater bills going out into the future. And again, what you see here is the residential customers, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 gallons of that wastewater bill. And then again, also, we do have the same increases on the commercial side. You can see what those rates look like. And then again, the impact to commercial customers at the 5,000 and 10,000 gallon level. But again, it's important for us to put that bill together. So I'm going to back up and again look at water and sewer together. If you act on the water rate ordinance that is in front of you tonight, you can see the June 21, what that would do for a 5,000 gallon customer, a $1.78 increase in the monthly bill. Come October of this year, that's when the next wastewater increase takes effect. That's commensurate with the project and the assumptions that have been made about debt at this time, so you can see what that 5,000 gallon bill does at that time. Same information on the commercial side. Again, 5,000 gallon commercial bill, just the water rate action right now, $1.91 a month. The wastewater action in October based on the action the council has already taken. But I show you this chart every year, and I'm going to wrap up with this slide. Everybody wants to know, how do we look compared to other cities? How do we look compared to our neighbors? But I will tell you the same thing I tell you every year. You run a business. Your water and sewer utility is a business. It must be run like a business. You have to set pricing to generate the financial needs for your utility. So while we can look at what other cities are doing, we can look at how you compare, you need to take the action to maintain your business. This is also not an apples-to-apples comparison. Every city is different. Every city has different funding mechanisms, different ways to treat water, different water sources, different methods of treating wastewater. So again, not apples to apples, but you can see right now for a 5,000 gallon customer, that $84.28 monthly bill for 5,000 gallons. With this action, it would take that monthly bill to $86.06. Come October, with the next wastewater increase, it would jump you a little more slightly up to $90.35. So again, appreciate your time this evening. We have provided our regular report to the city, the written report. So if you have trouble sleeping tonight, I encourage you pick up a copy of that, take a look, but happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Well, one question, and I'm just trying to figure this out. I know that you have some costs that won't change, like staff,
Yes, sir.
that cost will be there no matter if the industry is using less water, commercial water usage goes down. But doesn't that make our utility expenses go down, and as well as materials? Even, we're pushing out less fresh water and handling less sewer. So doesn't that go down? How does that offset with the cost?
Now, very, very good question, because you are referring to variable expenses. Our variable expenses do go down. But when you look at a utility service, utilities are extremely fixed cost intensive. We have pipes, we have pumps, we have plant, we have all of these things that we cannot resize just because consumption falls. And so we have to continue to maintain these elements. We continue to have staff. We continue to have fixed cost. So when you look at a utility, it's not uncommon for the fixed cost of the utility to be 80, in some cases 85% of the total cost structure. The only true variable costs we have as a utility really are electricity and chemicals. That's about it. So because we are so fixed cost intensive, as that consumption goes down, we don't see a commensurate decrease in all of our costs. Most of our costs are still there. We still have to cover them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more discussion?
How long is this going to last in terms of the rate hike going up?
So again, we look at this every year, and so it's a matter of we have to either get rid of costs or we have to have an increase in consumption to bring down a rate. There are a number of factors there. I can't say how long this would continue. I will say in my 17 years now, I've only ever lowered a rate once, and that was with debt coming off the books. So it's a rare occasion, but if we can sell more water, that's always a good thing.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any further questions, Mr. Eckert? This requires no action at this time, so,
Actually, yeah,
There's a
it does.
ordinance.
oh. Yeah, okay. Consider the ordinance amending the fee schedule. All right. Any questions about the fee schedule? I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the staff recommended recommendation for the rate study as proposed tonight, and is that good enough? Do I need to add
Yes.
anything?
To approve
Okay.
the ordinance.
To approve the ordinance.
Approve the ordinance.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right.
Go ahead, Reggie.
It's been a motion and a second to approve the ordinance of the water rates to reflect changes in the 2021 water and sewer rate study. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed, say no. Unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Eckert. Good explanation. Item number 11, discuss and act on a resolution approving confirmation of the city manager's appointment of Russell G. Thrasher as EMS Director pursuant to Section 23 of the Paris City Charter. Mr. Path, would you make your presentation, please?
I wanted to come down here so I can stand next to my recommendation. So, as you all know, back in November, Kent Klinkeman retired from the EMS director position, so it became my task once again to hire another department head. And so I went about this process working with Fire Chief Thomas McMonagle, as well as HR and Civil Service Director Sandy Collar. They served as my interview team. We had a total of, we interviewed 5 individuals, And with that, I am pleased to present to you Russell Thrasher as my selection for EMS Director. And so, as you all know, he's worked with the city for 20-plus years, doing outstanding work, working his way up from a paramedic up to a shift supervisor, and recently as the interim EMS Director following Mr. Klinkenman's departure. He did an outstanding job during the COVID-19 pandemic, and so coordinating a ton of effort for the vaccine center, and doing outstanding work with that. I have seen the difference he has made in the department, and so I know he has the right character, the right professionalism, the right what I need for that department. And so I've seen it in the department, those I've talked to, talking to his peers, and so I think he is definitely the right decision for this position to take over for this role. And so, with that, I would recommend to you Russell Thrasher as my selection for EMS Director, and I would ask you please to appoint him tonight. And so he is here to answer any questions you have. And so,
Questions of Mr. Thrasher or comments?
Well, I'll just say I've talked to a few of the staff that worked under Kent and with Mr. Thrasher, and I've not heard good things. I've heard great things. And with that being said, I'd like to make the motion that we accept the appointment of Mr. Russell Thrasher as the EMS Director.
Second.
And I just want to say, Mr. Thrasher, I do appreciate your efforts during COVID. It was very difficult times last year, and then the coordination of the vaccine rollout was just simply amazing out there at the Love Exhibit Center. I went out there myself to see how things were going, and you were getting people in and out in a timely manner. You had, wheelchairs. I mean, your guys were doing a great job. So it's definitely a worthy position for you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
It was kind of just an extension of EMS. I mean, it kind of just was natural part of what we should do and how we should treat people and those kind of things. So
Absolutely.
It just worked well.
I think it showed the teamwork that Mr. Path has tried to bring to all the city departments. It isn't one individual department. You had police and fire there, you had the county health department there, but you were running it seemed, and just flawlessly. So we have a motion to accept Mr. Path's recommendation. Do I hear a second?
I think.
Second.
A second, all right. All those in favor of Mr. Thrasher as our new EMS Director, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Won't let you down.
Item number 12, discuss and take any necessary action regarding the nonprofit organization contracting policy in preparation for receiving and reviewing applications at a future meeting. Staff presentation.
yes. This is a preliminary discussion item to get the council preparing for this coming up here in the near future. As you recall, back in February of this year, we passed a new policy in which is to guide us through the process of reviewing and determining, making decisions on which nonprofits we will fund. As you know, each year, the past several years, we have, through our budget process, funded several worthy nonprofits, but that's always been done through the city manager's office. And I made the decision after consulting with several council members that this is probably best that this should be a council decision. And so we wrote a policy, and it has some very good guidelines there, I think, to kind of guide us through the process. The big thing being they're all worthy, but we only have so much funds. We have a lot of tasks that we're responsible for. So this is to systematically help the council guide them through a process of making the tough decisions as to which ones we can and cannot fund. And so, but with that, we have carried out the policy to the point to where we now have. How many would you say we have, Stephanie? How many have we received application-wise? Is it a dozen?
There are 12. We had an application that is not actually seeking funding this year, but so we have 12 to talk about disbursement of funds.
Yes. So, thank you. So we have 12 applications, and so we are currently reviewing those per the policy to make determination whether they are appropriate, whether they do public purposes, whether they follow the application process, those parts. And so the next step would be for our staff presentation to the council. Now, after having talked to several of the nonprofits, they have asked whether they can do presentations, and so I honestly did not think about that during the policy, and so it only makes sense. Likewise, I would imagine the council may have questions asked of them as they consider them, so it would also make sense that they be present when you're discussing this. So with that, I would first off encourage you to review the policy again, go through it again on your time, make sure you're familiar with that. We will go through it thoroughly whenever we do discuss this, but also too, just some guidance tonight from the council. Would you like to have presentations? I would recommend short ones. There are 12 of them, and so I'd recommend probably 5 minutes or less potentially. You can always have Q&A afterwards, and also too, I recommend maybe a special meeting. I don't think we want to tackle all that in one regular council meeting, and there'll be a lot to discuss. So I just want to get your guidance on that. Now with this, we're not in any immediate timeline. We just have to have it done by the time we put the budget together, and so it is not necessary that we get this done at the next meeting. And in fact, I appreciate if I don't have to get done by the next meeting. It's a lot to get done, and so but we would like to bring it to you back in July or August. Hopefully sooner the better. And so it's not, we don't need to set a date tonight for a special meeting. I just like some guidance. Would you like a special meeting, or would you like to tackle it in a regular meeting? So
should we make a committee or something to do that, the interviews with and stuff, or should that be I mean, how much money do we allot for?
We allotted a total of $100,000 to go towards the whole program. Max each entity of $15,000 per entity. So it's not a small amount.
No.
And I just kind of think naturally most members are going to have questions of different entities, and so I think they're going to probably, committee or not, that they're probably going to ask questions either way. And so, but we can do a subcommittee. It wasn't quite in our policy to do that. Our policy was written to be one council meeting, one discussion. You all hear the same thing. You all discuss at the same time. That's kind of the way we wrote our policy. I'd recommend that proceed. I think at least we tried out this year at least. And so, and if it doesn't work out, we do it again next year, so differently. So,
Any questions? Feelings about a separate meeting? This would add a minimum of 1 hour to a regular council meeting. And this time of year, our council meetings tend to be a little lengthy with budget presentations and so forth.
I'm in full support of having a special meeting. I mean, I think this is an awesome responsibility that, we have as council, and, for these nonprofits that work hard each and every year for our community, we 1 hour isn't much. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I agree, because we need time to hear from them, because everybody on the council don't know every nonprofit that's out here and know all about it. So we need to really get to, a little bit of familiar with it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've served on a United Way Citizens Board where you listen for 3 days. You listen to about 25 organizations giving a 30-minute presentation, and it's a hard decision. Even when the more you know, the harder it gets sometimes. But
definitely a 5-minute presentation, though. Yeah.
Okay. Would
Do
you
the
like to
best they
just?
can in 5 minutes.
Yep. Would you like to just present us a date at another council meeting?
Yeah, but what we'll do is work with Janice. We will, once Stephanie and I have completed our role in this, we will then work with Janice to then communicate to the council to identify a date that works for everyone. I would like to get all 7 of you together for this important decision. So we'll work on your schedules to get that, and then I'll reach out to the entities and say, start preparing a 5-minute presentation. Try to keep it to that. And then you can have Q&A. The council could always have a Q&A with you afterwards, and so, but we'll get that part rolling. And so I would expect sometime in July, maybe early August, but sometime in July, hopefully. So.
Okay, thank you. Item number 13, discuss and act on the GEXA energy invoice of $450,000, $450,005.34 for additional ancillary charges from the February 2021 winter storm. Staff presentation, please.
This is unfortunately one of the, again, unfortunate after effects of that winter storm. It just seems like it just keeps coming, even though it's 100 degrees outside or more. We keep going back to this winter storm. But a couple of weeks ago, as you have in your material there, we were given an invoice for $450,000 and some change for additional costs as a result of the winter storm. And as I explained in my memo here, in a nutshell, I think they're still figuring out what happened in the storm, but generation failed throughout the state, and then so other generation was required to come online. And the way it works in general, and I'm not an expert, but talking to TCAP, what I've learned here is whenever you go to enter your power into the system, you name your own price. And it's supply and demand. When there's a high demand, you get to name your price. And so we normally pay $30 to $40 per megawatt hour. They were charging $25,000 per megawatt hour. And so I'd be hard pressed for anyone to convince me that it costs that much money to produce power during that time, but that's just the way it is. There are no laws broken. I would question ethics, but that's not my place to call that out. And so bottom line is we now owe $450,000 for our usage during that time period. And so obviously we didn't budget for that. They've given us some payment options. Now, I will say GEXA, this is not GEXA's doing, GEXA, that's not their doing. They're the middle entity. They're the ones that coordinate our power usage. We tell them, okay, we need this much. They go out and they find it and give it to us. And so they're the middle entity. So they've already paid a $32 million bill on behalf of all TCAP cities, and we're one of those. So they paid for us. Now we need to pay them back. And so they've given us three options: one paid up front, two paid in like 1.5 years, which at like a $24,000 per month, which is a 2.2% interest rate, and the third one being paid between now and December 2028, which is a 8.7% interest rate. Again, they're not charging additional. That's just the cost for them to carry the debt for us for that period there. So again, if we try to pay it out over time, again, we didn't budget for that, and we have big plans in our budget, and so we're trying to be good frugal citizens, good frugal servants of the taxpayer dollar. And I hate to try to add another $100,000 that I don't really have for this here. So with that, we do have our CARES funding that we were given. And so this is money that we were given. We've already cut the strings. We have met the need for that. That money is now ours to use. We were going to use it for generators and so forth for the very storm that we went through. And but unfortunately, it's either we pay it out of a reserve, which I prefer we not do that, or we add it to our budget, which again, I don't want to do that either, preferably, or we use this money that was given to us, which is, we don't get that very often. We are going to get about $5.4 million through the American Rescue Plan coming up pretty soon, so we're not totally derailed for a lot of our plans. It's a bummer. I hate to throw money away, this is taxpayer money at these entities, but don't have a choice. So I'd recommend that we pay it all up front using the CARES funding that we received to do this. Again, we don't have a choice. We've got to pay this. We've vetted that. The mayor and I have even approached our local legislators about this. There's just no interest in legislation right now. Lieutenant Governor was interested in it, but no one else wanted to touch it. And so if they ever were to reprice it and come back and say, you know what, we charge too much, GEXA has said, we will pay you back your share of that. So we're not adding anything, but at least we're not racking up interest rates either. So I recommend that we pay it all using our CARES funding and get it done. So I'll entertain any questions you have.
I have a comment. As I was walking out my door to come to this meeting, I hate to tell you this, but ERCOT's already announcing a shortage in power because of the heat. So,
yeah,
you know, we could keep going around in circles with them over this.
Clyde, can you turn our lights off in here?
But I do like, I like your idea about paying it all up front, and fortunately, we've got the CARES funding, so. Yeah, I would definitely support that.
And that has been, you're absolutely right. They've been forecasting, particularly this week in particular, another strain on the system, and it's because of how hot it is. I'm new to Texas. I hope they would figure that out with how hot it can be. But you are right, Ms. Knox, that is another risk. So I will never say this is the last we're going to see this, but I'm hoping it is. So,
Grace and I agree. I don't, from a business standpoint, we have a fiduciary responsibility to all citizens. It makes no sense to to entertain interest on this. I think you'd pay it off and count the blessings we have.
But we don't have to pay the interest, yeah.
Yeah.
This
I'm
was
the same way. Pay it with the money that was given to us. I mean, that's
what's so sad about that. This was 4 days, 4 days of usage.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
Yeah, I'm very frustrated with this, and so I may not be showing it, but I'm rather upset about this, and so this is a waste.
I'm frustrated our governor and attorney general aren't interested in helping us.
Well, I'll make a motion to go ahead and pay the full amount of $450,005.34 from the CARES funding.
I'll second.
All right, a motion and a second to pay the money from CARES funding to Gexa Energy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 14, discuss and approve termination of the airport management agreement and FBO agreement, purchasing the FBO agreement from JR Aviation for a total of $89,000, plus the cost of the fuel of about $30,000 to be determined. Hire a full-time employee to become the next airport manager and FBO, and authorize the city manager and city attorney to prepare a bill of sale to be brought back to the city council meeting. Mr. Path?
Jerry Ritchie, he was present tonight, a representative of JR Aviation Incorporated. They have served as our FBO and airport manager for a number of years, decades, I think, and so quite some time. And so we've had numerous contracts with them. He has informed me that he does wish to retire, and so he'd like to retire in both contracts with this. And so now we are set to make a change. We have to decide: do we go out for a third party again? How do we do this here, and so forth? Mr. Ritchie has willingly come to us saying, "Hey, I'd like to give you first right to our FBO." The airport management contract, that's we pay for that, so that's ours to decide anyways. But under the FBO, he has the option of assigning that. I've been there before in my last community. I'm very appreciative of Mr. Ritchie coming to us first, and so and not assigning to someone else. That is his right, but he's not doing that, and I appreciate that. He has offered to sell to us the 2 fuel trucks, his equipment, as well as basically rights to the company for $89,000. Working with Gene Anderson and Janice Ellis and Stephanie Harris, we've looked at his income returns and everything. We do believe that is a fair price for what his company is worth, given he's got three more years of contract left. He could always assign it. So we do think it is worth that. Plus the fuel that's in the ground. Fuel is coming and going every day, and so that's why we have a TBD here. It's going to determine. We're going to have to set a date for. Okay, this is now the delineation line for whenever we're going to change hands. But roughly, and he has agreed to sell it to us for what he paid for it, which again I appreciate that. And we would then turn around and sell it. So we would then make money off that. So my goal here, and talking with staff as well as Mayor Portugal, has been very involved in this process with her time on the airport board prior to becoming on the council to now. We do think it would be wise to hire a full-time employee now and to fully control this. And so, I mean, it is my task as city manager to oversee the airport. But again, when you have a third party, you lose some control. And otherwise, that's why they're called a contractor. You cannot control everything they do. I think it'd be wise if we go ahead and go that route, at least try to. Take it over. We would take over fuel purchasing. Working with Mr. Anderson, it's always a risk because it's definitely a business, but we do feel we can hack away at the subsidy that currently was about a $60,000 subsidy right now. We believe we can knock that out. I would never say fully because until we get into it, but just by the numbers we ran so far, we do believe we can cut that down drastically, which was going to be needed and so elsewhere. And so with that. Our recommendation would be to authorize, obviously, the termination of the agreements, which we would write it through a bill of sale document and through that necessary documents there, but approve us to move forward with buying out his contract, taking over the equipment, and hiring a full-time employee. And then with that, we would bring back a bill of sale at the next meeting, work with Mr. Ritchie for those pieces there. So,
discussion or questions?
The only concern that I see, just kind of researching and doing my homework here, it's employment is hard right now. Yeah. Trying to find employees, trying to find people that want to work and want to have that opportunity. My only question is one, do we have the responsibility set out? This would be a new position, I would assume, and so I'm just wondering, do we have everything kind of looked out, researched to say, hey, this is what the city wants in terms of this full-time position? And would you be willing to look at maybe a like maybe part-time or something? I mean, are there different options that we're looking at for this? And have we found any leads if you were to find, if you were to go down this option?
Yeah, well, we have written a job description, and so yeah, we've done some pretty good due diligence in figuring out what is the responsibility. Of course, the contracts themselves lay out a lot of the requirements there, but we've actually reached out to the cities of Greenville.
Greenville, Mount Pleasant, Sulphur Springs.
Yeah, they have full-time employees at those airports, and so we've got their job descriptions. I've actually written one in preparation. Basically, if you told me yes today, I'm advertising tomorrow, and so I've got it ready to go. And I had not considered part-time. I had not considered that. There's always advantages to full-time, a little more dedicated, likely a little more of a quality, because I can pay more. And so you get a little more quality that way. I'd like to have more of a turnkey person. I'd rather not manage it myself on a day-to-day basis. So having a person who's out there dedicated. Now, this is not to say that, again, we're entering new waters here. So this may lead to a full-time plus a part-time possibly, because there are 24/7 requirements with this position here, within reason, and we have to look at some things closely. But I do think full-time would be the best option right now. So, but I do feel we've done some good research. We've actually talked to TxDOT Aviation already. They like what we proposed here. We actually ran everything past them. We're doing that now. We've not always done that in the far past, but we're doing that now under my management, and so make sure they know what we're doing, which is good because they pay us money, and so but I think we're ready to go. So
This would be pretty much a skill position, wouldn't it?
It would. Yes and no. You do not have to be a pilot to be a manager.
I know that.
And so, but you do have to have certain skills to know how to manage things. I mean, I'm looking for someone who knows how to run a small business, because they're going to be buying and selling fuel. And also customer service. I mean, a lot of things about airports is it's a front door. And it may not be the front door, but it's definitely a door into our city. And so you want someone who's going to be a good front person for us. Who's going to be, yes sir, no sir, welcome to our community. Let me pump your fuel for you, kind of stuff. And so I'm looking for several qualities there, and someone who can check several boxes of skill sets.
I mean, Grayson, you make a great point, because, at the end of the day, I see a lot of folks that fly into that airport that come in to do business in our community. You nailed it. I mean, we've got to have some good customer service in that area, and that sets the tone of how we set apart ourselves from the rest of our communities in our surrounding area. So
Yeah.
I agree.
And we also have an over $2 million project coming up that TxDOT's paying 90% of. And so I'm going to need someone who's going to be on point, kind of help guide that. And so we're.
I think the biggest thing too that we're gaining there, we've got a lot of activity out there right now. There's a lot of new hangars coming in. Mm-hmm. We're moving some of the old guys that have sat out there and didn't use the hangars. There's a lot of people on the waiting list. I think it's something that's needed, and like you said, control. That's, we have the infrastructure and the people, because that's, in my opinion, a small enough business that you wouldn't get a big Cutter Aviation or Truman Arnold or somebody come in and put in an FBO there. There's not enough activity yet, but then again, we've got the utilities and stuff to handle it, so.
Yeah, the only thing that would entice someone is if we give them the fuel as well, and so that's where they make their money, and is being able to sell the fuel. And I would like to control that, because I think it'd be a revenue source for us. And so, but to your point there, I mean, again, getting back to what you said, Ms. Portugal, earlier, we have a great team. I know between Janice and Stephanie, and working with Roger Colson and Clyde Cruz and Derek Degas, they've all attacked the airport very heavily, working with Jerry Ritchie. Airport hangar delinquencies, waiting lists, policies, procedures, working on TxDOT. We're making a lot of changes out there, which is a lot of good changes. And so we got a good team out there, and I want to add to that team.
The waiting list has really started moving, and that's good. We've had 20 or more on the waiting list for the 6 years I've been aware of it, and now that's gotten a lot shorter. I don't know how many exactly.
It fluctuates between 15 and 17.
Okay. So forward progress. All right, I will hear a motion terminating the airport management agreement, purchasing the FBO agreement for $89,000 plus cost of remaining fuel, hiring a full-time employee to become airport manager and FBO, and authorizing city manager and city attorney to prepare a bill of sale. All those in favor? Oh, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 15, discuss and act on procedures for the appointment of the board and commission members. Ms. Ellis, do you have a presentation, please?
Certainly. Last year, you all made your appointments differently. You took the slate of nominees and you gave them points. Then you turned them over to us, and we came back and announced if there were 3 vacancy, we announced the top 3. You all are going to appoint your boards in 2 weeks, so we wanted to know if you wanted to do that procedure again, if you wanted to do it the old way, where you make a motion and then vote on it.
And the difference between last year and this year is you would use those tally sheets that you had done as, you'd nominate the top person first and do a vote in open session, and use those as the springboard for the nominations and the votes.
Those of you who may not have been involved in the past with just making verbal nominations, it was a little bit like the mayor, whoever they called on, that person got nominated and we voted, and that was generally who got elected. And this gives everybody that has taken the time to fill out the application and show an interest, everybody has sort of an equal chance.
I agree. The point system we used last year, which I think we did the points, and we nominated the top 3, then we have to vote for that slate.
Correct.
That's right.
That we put together. But everybody, if you've got 7 people or 6 people, and like an example in there, and we may have 6 applicants for just the EDC, I don't know, or maybe more. I want to give everybody the fair, because the first one comes up and you might get it voted in, or you may, and everybody gets an equal, opportunity in their points. So
I've been on being new to the council, I've been on the other end where you're the one that's applying, and oh man, it's a tough process to sit there and get your name drawn out of a hat, or someone nominates you, or you get left out and you're that 4th person out. It's tough. I think that how y'all conducted it last year, as not being on the council in observing, I thought that was a fair process, and that seemed like the right way to do it. That's just my 2 cents on it. I really think that was the right way to go.
Any further discussion? All right, the chair will hear a motion then to use option 1, which is follow the attached procedures for the appointments, and you had those in your backup, for board and commission members.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of option 1 to appoint board and commission members, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 16, discuss the charter review process and consider engaging the services of a third-party consultant to guide the city through the process. Ms. Ellis?
Okay, you all have indicated we're going to move forward with reviewing our charter. In the past, we've used a consultant because it's a rather complex process. We're asking if you all would consider engaging the services of a consultant. We have actually talked, staff has talked to Don Edmonds. He's out of the Tyler area. We were impressed with him. We wanted to see if you would all be open to hearing a presentation from him, maybe in 2 weeks, and just get your thoughts on that.
I think this would be a good opportunity. I feel, and again, I wasn't on council at this time whenever the charter review committee was selected or anything like that, but I think that this would be a good opportunity just to get more information in regards to how we do a charter review. Secondly, this is an important decision that the community has to make for how we want to amend the charter and go forward. And I mean, if that means that we have to get a consultant or whatever the process is to do it correctly, I think that that's important. So I'm in support.
Is there anybody, I guess Paula, they hadn't done one since I've been here, but I didn't know if Linda or Paula, have y'all been a part of one?
I don't think so, because it has been a number of years since it's been done, so none of us.
I would sure like some knowledge and guidance, because
And if you all hear from this individual and you want to hear from others, we can reach out. I actually talked to the city secretary out of Texas City. I think it was a couple of years ago, he did theirs. They were very pleased with him, and he was reasonable. It took about 6 weeks, so we're okay on the time frame.
You know, the only thing that, and I'm all for having a consultant, but what I'm not for is hand selecting one consultant somewhere. We know we've
Yeah.
talked about this before several
Yes.
times, that the city of Paris can, in its charter, has the right to select one person when everybody else, using taxpayers' money, has to advertise. You know, and I think that when we hand select somebody, we are eliminating an opportunity for somebody else, maybe within our region, that might also be good. But we're eliminating an opportunity for other people to participate in the process when we just hand select one person without advertising. So I would like to see this advertised somehow, or at least have more than, I would like to see it advertised.
Okay, I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure how to go advertise, maybe through TML or something, because it's kind of a specialty area to work on
I wonder if
charters.
she's saying like maybe we
Request
just
for proposals, I think that's what you
interview,
do for.
interview 2 or 3 of them. Is that what you're kind of?
And like
Yeah, or
presentation,
you
we
guys
can
at
reach
least
out
get
to like,
proposals from people and,
Yeah.
and then decide. But at least give people
Sure.
an opportunity to participate, and you all can pick the one that you think we need to hear from, and that would be fine with me.
we can reach out to the one that we used last time. He's out of Austin.
We can put together some kind of
Yeah,
advertisement, so.
sure.
We do something like that, so, and we'll try to figure out how to, again, if the council so wishes to proceed this way, but we can put some kind of advertisement together for that. It'd take about a month process to get everything back in time, and so we would bring it back to probably into July, early August, so.
We're not in a real big hurry, are we?
No.
Okay, so we can have,
And-
we have a minute to where we can
Certainly.
advertise. I would like that. I would like to see us start going in that direction, rather than just hand selecting one person.
And
So-
we can reach out to other cities. That's
Sure.
what we did, how we met this guy, or talked to him.
Sure,
From
sure.
this other city secretary, and we can reach out to the person that we used several years ago.
Yeah, thanks.
I personally know the attorney that was used
In
in Paris
2007.
in '07.
Mhm, Monty
And
Akers.
excellent guy, would do a top-notch job,
Yeah.
but he's located in the Austin area, so cost of travel and an attorney versus not an attorney would cost a lot more. We value our attorneys. But that's fine. Okay.
Okay.
Do you need anything else on that item?
I don't think
I
so.
think we have
Okay.
direction.
All right.
Thank you.
Item number 17, convene into executive session pursuant to Section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code. 1, to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the governmental body has received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the governmental body, and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations. Or 2, to deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentive to a business prospect described by subdivision 1 as follows: HWH Downtown Development. We are convening into executive session at 6:37. It is 7:47, and we're reconvening into open session. No action is required at this time. Next item, number 20, consider and approve future events for city council and/or city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. I'd like to discuss the possibility of a council workshop coming up in the fall, possibly at the next meeting.
Okay.
And also discuss the results of the committee for employee evaluations and the dates and processes. Okay? All right. Item number 21, adjournment.
I make a
Motion and
to
second.
adjourn.
Unanimous.